Hello everybody, today we'll be doing an upgrade video on the garden, so let's get started. I have planted extra stuff in with the potatoes, but as you see here, I've already got potatoes popping up, but I also planted some yellow onions, some radish, I put some carrot seeds in, and I put in some snap peas. Now, the radishes ain't doing too well, but as far as the rest of the plants, the onions and the potatoes are growing together and getting along. And the carrots have not sprouted, and the peas are only growing in a certain container so far. Now, as the potatoes are taking off really good. So the cool thing about the onions is that they can fit in between the leaves and the stalks of the plants, and no matter how big the potatoes get, they can coexist. I was hoping the radishes would got somewhere before the potatoes sprouted, but we had a growth spurt. I did not show myself planting the seeds of the other plants because it's been storming and raining a lot. But as you see, everything's growing pretty good so far, as at least in the onions and the potatoes goes. That is the first time compost gardening. As you see, it's growing pretty good. This row right here was the potatoes I saved from last year. They were small ones, and they was growing on the newspaper on the floor. These here are the ones I planted that was sprouting that we bought from the store, just regular store potatoes. And then the last 3 rows here are the potatoes that I bought, the seed potatoes. And then that last little spot back there just got some onions by itself, but there is some onions planted amongst the potatoes out here as well. Now, the cool part about the compost gardening is that the sweet peas have more room to grow, so they're actually sprouting up. So this is the sweet pea. As far as the compost gardening goes, I do like it. I just hope that it does just as good as the containers when it comes to time to harvest the potatoes. But everything's growing pretty good in there. As far as the compost gardening, I was going to go ahead and make myself a container over here and plant tomatoes and stuff in it. But thanks to the storms, I'm a little slow and behind on doing that. And then my last 3 containers out here, and yes, this is a metal barrel out of a dryer, and that's a metal tank out of a washing machine, and that's an old potter over here. But at least the onions and potatoes are coexisting. Now, in this old sand container for children to play sand in, I put dirt and planted spinach. So I put down fresh compost, some compost soil, some rabbit manure, then I put down some wet hay. I wetted it down really good, and I put the spinach seeds. And as you see, the spinach is growing pretty good. It won't be too long, I'll be harvesting. As you see, this container ain't very deep, but spinach only needs so much soil to grow in, so use what you got, and this works out pretty good. Now, I did have some problems with a raccoon messing with the spinach. It kept getting in here and digging it up while it was still seed, and that's why there's some bare patches here and there. And I tried to reseed and work it all up. I had to dig out the old owl decoy. I wish I remembered this last year when the raccoons was bothering me. And the other thing I have to do is I have been using urine in the area and jugs and pouring it out. And I know that sounds gross, but it's working. The raccoons are leaving me alone now. I do not know what the raccoons was after because nothing was sprouted here. There was nothing here. I didn't put no eggshells in this time. I just think the animal was curious to what was in here. But as things goes along, this is the progress so far of the potatoes I planted. I apologize that I didn't show myself planting the other stuff, but it's been raining and storming a lot here. If you ever see in my gardening videos pink fake flowers, I have a purpose for that. The purpose for having pink fake flowers around my garden is that this attracts bumblebees. And even though none of my plants are in bloom yet, I went ahead and stuck them out here because these are from last year, and I'll probably buy some new ones to stick in my plants. And most of the plants grow yellow flowers, and yellow flowers does not attract the bees proper. So this will pull in my bumblebees, the hummingbirds, and some insects. And then when they find out the flowers are not real, they go and check out the rest of the plants, and they find the rest of the flowers, and this brings them to the area, and this helps pollinate better. It's a little trick I picked up. And these containers here, I have took and put in compost soil, rabbit manure, and wet hay. And I have seeded them with 4 different types of lettuces. Yes, I went ahead and mixed my lettuce. They are not sprouting yet, but they are freshly planted. So we will see how that turns out. And then back here, I am doing an experiment with pop bottles to make terrariums. Trying different seeds out. As you see here, it's doing really good on these sweet peas. And it's not doing so well with the spinach. But these are just experiments. If these experiments turn out better, I'll tell you how I built this more. It's just a flower pot and 2 pop bottles. And inside here I got lava rocks, gravel, and water. Up in here the water keeps making condensation like if you was in a rainforest. If these containers turn out better, which is doing pretty good with the sweet pea so far, I'll show a video on how to make them better. Through here I planted birdhouse gourds. Here's some mixed gourds. Then all out through here in this old compost pile, I planted some pumpkins. I'm waiting to see if the pumpkins will come up. Some of them's already coming up from where the pumpkins have rotted and made their own seeds. As you see here, some here are growing where I've already planted them. Some's growing voluntarily. The pumpkins are starting to sprout. Once the pumpkin plants start popping up more, I will start coming in here and dumping rabbit manure and eggshell powder after cooking it in the oven and grinding it up. I took the best birdhouse gourds while they were green and drilled a hole in them and then let them dry, and I worked them up recently. I don't bother painting them because I learned when I paint them the birds don't like them. So I'll show you a quick picture of that. Here is 2 of the biggest birdhouse gourds I put up so far, which I've got them all hung up. As you see, the wrens are already using this one. This is a birdhouse gourd from last year. As you see, I do not paint them. It stays more natural looking of the weather. I usually get like 3 years out of them before they finish rotting. My biggest problem with birdhouse gourds is that the squirrels like to chew on them. As you see, they sit there and chewed this one completely off. And so most of the birdhouse gourds I hung up the year before last got chewed up and eaten on. The squirrels were chewing up the birdhouse gourd so bad that I just wired this one completely across here. It's loose, so the tree's not going to grow around it. I will monitor that. But as you see, it still went ahead and chewed this last one up here. And I put holes on opposite sides so that the birds won't be disturbed by each other. Get a little space. And these are getting close to maybe 2 years old, and they're still good. So as you see, these here are really old. There's squirrel chew marks there. The squirrel chewed the beginning of that one way out of the hole. And when I get that big of a hole chewed out, the birds won't use it. Well, thank you for watching my video. If you like my video, be sure to hit the like button. And be sure to check out my other videos. I will keep you informed more on the rest of the plants that I'm growing. And thank you for watching.